Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Utility Board public meeting for December 2023. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan's absent. Julie Rivera. Here. Ralph Miller.
Present.
Colleen Sheehan. Here. John Foreman.
Present.
Richard Sharp.
Here.
Nick Riccio.
Here.
Jen's absent. Chris Alatas.
Present.
David Austin.
Present.
All right, thank you, Margot.
You're welcome.
Item number 1, new business, is NICE pay request number 5 for the Crystal Oaks elevated water tank payable to Dixon Engineering in the amount of $1,150. Neil's absent. Do you have something on this, Chris?
This is for one of the painting of the tower. There will be more pay requests to come. It did pass it to water quality inspection, so it's just about ready to go into service.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any other questions or comments on this item?
Yes, sir.
All right. If not, do we have a motion to approve this pay request?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Ralph, seconded by Julie to approve this pay request. Roll call, please.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Sheehan.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes.
Nick Riccio.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Item 2 is future water capacity needs planning discussion. Chris, do we have anything?
Got nothing at this time.
Okay. Written report, fund report, clerk treasurer.
Did she email your report?
I think we got our expenditure. And,
I think we did.
Yeah.
Jen will be in the office tomorrow if anybody
Okay.
has any questions.
Okay, thank you. Number 4, consultants and staff reports. We have engineer Neese. Did you have anything from Neil?
No, he's out on vacation. There's been no substantial.
Okay. Item B, Director of Operations Superintendent, Mr. Kubiak.
We just have a couple things. The lift station 13 over there by Woodmar is still in bypass mode. The pumps are in. We're waiting for some fittings for the bottoms of the pumps to adapt to the lift station, so we're hoping that those are in this coming up week. So that should be back in operation.
Is that going to be our Christmas present? If we get those?
Possibly, but it seems like they had the pumps in stock. There was just some adapter fittings on the bottom that had to be ordered, so they said 2 weeks to get in, so we're only at 8 or 9 days for that 2 weeks. So we're hoping to have them. The bypass thing is running fine. Everything is working good. It's just waiting. So as soon as that comes in, we discovered we have another issue across the street over here off of Morse where they tied in for the new sanitary sewer. There's a drop. External drop on the manhole that's only 8-inch pipe going down to the bottom of the manhole, and it's been leaking and undermining around the manhole, so that needs to be upsized and replaced. We have the materials available. We got everything ready to go. Reichhelt's going to put it in since they're doing that job. We're awaiting the pumps for lift station 13 so we could use our pump to bypass that line in order to put this in. So it shouldn't be that huge a deal, but we're going to upsize that to a 12-inch drop and get it, to where it needs to be. So that's a decent sized project. And then also, hopefully within January, we'll be starting on lift station 19 upgrades and getting that thing going. So
Do we have more than one bypass pump?
We actually have 2. We don't have enough. I mean, we're limited on. We have about 600 feet of bypass piping. So, depending on what we got to do, we do have another one. But our one that's automated and stuff is down by lift station 13 now. The other one's just a 6-inch pump. But we do have another one that's that we could use in emergency. But with that working out there, this is fine, and it's going to be better for us to use the stuff that we have. We don't have enough pipe, and we don't want to buy another 500 feet of pipe that we don't need every day. So we're in good shape. We're just waiting for things to line up so we can get it all done. So But it'll be interesting here in the first of the year, we got three different things going right off the bat, so.
All right, real quick, Tim, what's the update on those meters? Remember we were having a problem getting the water meters? Are we
The
getting?
water meters we do have a lot of them now. I
Yeah.
think we have like 300 water meters now, so.
Okay,
The yoke and the water meters have finally we had like 100 ordered. I think we're up to, I think we had like 300 come in now. So the ones
Okay.
that have been back ordered for the 2 years or whatever are finally catching up. So we're in a good shape now with that again. We
Okay.
have quite a few in stock. They had to actually build some new shelving and stuff to put them on, but we got yokes and meters now for the future. I mean, we're in good shape. So.
okay. All right, thank you, Tim. Any other questions for Tim? If not, then, Town Attorney, Mr. Austin, do you have anything for us? Okay, thank you. Item 5 is the JMOD report. What are we?
We'll be waiting on the new appointments for next year.
Okay. Public comment for the utility board? Is there anybody here for public comment for the utility board? Margot, do you have anything submitted online or anybody that wants to speak?
No, sir.
Okay. Public comment portion's closed, and this meeting is adjourned at 6:25 PM. Next meeting Tuesday, January 16th, 2024 at 6:30. Please stick around for the town council meeting. Thank you.
Council public meeting for December 19th, 2023 is called to order.
We'll appreciate
I
that.
can't hear you.
Test 1, 2, test.
There you go.
Test 1, 2.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay? Please stand for the pledge. In a moment of silence, I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Margot.
Robert Carnahan is absent. Julie Rivera. Here. Nick Cupido.
Here.
Ralph Miller.
Present.
Colleen Sheehan. Present. John Foreman.
Present.
Richard Sharp.
Here.
Jennifer Sandberg is absent. Colada.
Present.
David Austin. And Margot Nagy filling in for Jennifer.
Thank you, Margot. We begin with a presentation for service recognition for Dave Martins and John Freeman by Mr. Tim Kubiak. Tim, if you could handle this.
Handling it.
50-plus years of service between the two gentlemen, I understand.
Yeah, good evening. John's not here, I don't know if he's coming or not coming or
Oh,
what.
okay.
Dave, you wanna come up here?
All right.
We got Dave and John Walt's a trophy versus the same old plaque, just because I like to be different.
Oh, my God.
So it just says Dave Martin's, Cedar Lake Public Works, 27 years of service, which actually, when he does retire, will be 1 day short of 27 years.
Oh, okay.
You might as well call it 20.
Yeah.
John's at 25 years, they're both are, most years of service. Dave now is, in the last 5 or 6 years, does all the locates and he put up all the new decorative sign poles and all the Cedar Lake signs. That was kind of his niche, doing the inspections and locates, and then the sign guy, he ordered signs, put up all the signs, kept all that stuff when people knocked them down and whatever. So he'll be missed for sure. He did a big part of the daily routine every day, and he's done 1 million hours of snow plowing over the time, I'm sure.
Got out before any more snow plowing, huh?
Well, you can't retire. Come on, man.
Very familiar. Those contracts.
And then we got John, who's been here for 25 years, and he was like our resident handyman guy. I mean, he fixed light poles, light bulbs, changed faucets, everything that went wrong in the buildings. He was pretty much that guy that did all those things, so he missed also. So it's kind of crazy. These guys have been here for that many years and seen that much, the town change. Oh, here's John right here.
Okay.
Come on up here, Daddy.
You're getting a NASCAR trophy.
He was a great fireman too, for many years. Now, can you come back?
There you go, John.
I'm too old now.
Yeah, so John did all those things for us, and both of them, they've been here for a lot of years, so. Anyways, that's that. You guys got anything to say? Thanks for the trophy.
Thanks for the trophy. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Where you want us to go?
And we'll get
All right, Lori, you two get a picture together first.
Okay.
Then we'll let Lori get a picture with you, just for fun.
And we want Dave's better half in that photo for sure.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm the better half.
Awesome, thank you. You can.
walk for this long.
Oh, I do like the trophy idea, that was good.
That's a great idea, Tim.
Thank you.
Great idea.
Awesome, guys, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Move to a public hearing, ordinance number 1456, Public way vacation, continued public hearing, Rago. Deferred an initial public hearing on 4/27, 6/20, 7/18, 8/1, 8/15, and 10/3, all 2023. Review of the legals, Mr. Austin?
Mr. President, this is a long continued, many times deferred, continued item. I talked with Attorney Weaver this afternoon and believe from that discussion, he would be here.
It could be that he's thinking it's a 7 o'clock meeting.
That's possible,
You know
Joe.
what, maybe we should just,
Push it to the end of the meeting?
yeah, push it to
That's
the
my
end.
suggestion.
Is that, okay, that's your suggestion,
That
Dave?
is my suggestion.
Okay, we'll just,
Can I just say one thing real quick about it? or
yes,
no?
you may, yes, you may.
Oh, if you guys noticed at your desk, I left you this copy of this property, so I just want you all to be aware, besides the active utility easement, that this 10-foot walking path goes from the north end of the conference grounds all the way through to 139th right now.
So nothing's vacated to the north?
There's nothing vacated.
Because it's been mentioned at public meetings that it's been vacated.
There is
but-
nothing vacated. There's one piece of property near the conference grounds that shows on the, GIS that it's, something, but we got the information from the county that shows that it is easement and it's still there, so, the concern would be that without that last piece of property, you can't get through to 130. We're paying money to acquire property for walking paths and walkways, and if you look at this picture, I mean, if you look from the path, which the town owns, not in the conference grounds, it doesn't, but it owns it up to the conference grounds, and then there's nothing built to the lakeside due to that path. I mean, that path has protected that lake shore for, this many years, so, I think at the very least, besides the electrical being in the way, if this was something to be vacated, that it should at least be replaced or somehow continued through to 139th just for future planning, you know what I mean, so.
But Tim, all those people own the land on the other side of the path, right?
Correct,
So they own their house, then across the path.
correct. Most all of them, and Rago owns some of the property, but then the homeowner association owns some of the.
Right, that lakefront edge is the homeowner's.
But that path has created the line in the sand for building, and that's what's kept everybody's houses from crossing that line, is that the town owns that 10-foot strip.
But didn't we vacate just to the south of there, though? The other
The
house?
Dolder
Dolder,
property?
yeah.
Yes, sir, correct.
We vacated that, what, about 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
Probably something like that, but that, right now, it gets out to 139th, so, I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can get to 139th, go down Hughesman, I mean, if you look at a walking path, that could go from the viaduct south and get to the conference grounds through the trailer park, and you could make it all the way down to 139th, go down Hughesman, and you could pretty much get down to that south end of the lake without going to Parrish and all the way up and around. I mean, in the future, it's just something to think about. I just think it's.
But it does dead end though, right, to the north where you got your red line drawn? It does just kind of go,
It stops at the.
it goes to conference grounds, then it goes to the west, and then it dead ends. I'm talking the other end. From the Dolders all the way to the north?
Right, it stops at the trailer park. Well, at the conference.
Conference
It does stop
grounds,
at the
yeah.
conference
And then it
grounds.
just goes up the hill to nowhere though, right?
It goes up the hill to nowhere, and then the conference grounds has their 10-foot path, their walking path all the way through the conference grounds. That's not on the picture.
Right, which is also private.
That's private, but there is a walking path all the way through the conference grounds.
Okay.
Still there. To this day, I mean, people still can't build past that walking path on all the way through the conference grounds land. So just something to be aware of, because I think it's important that we keep a path around there and just give that away without thinking about being able to keep the connectivity. I mean, if it's jogged over or whatever happens in the future, I mean, at least, if they wanted to do something there, they can provide access to still make it go through, so. Just wanted you to be aware of it.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Tim, do you have another copy?
What's that?
Do you have another copy of that?
Another, I have this one.
Okay, you keep yours.
I got one more, yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, this will be delayed till the end of the meeting. We go to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment, agenda items only, agenda items only.
Good evening, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, 8900 Wicker Avenue in St. John. I want to thank all the outgoing town council members for your years of service And I feel like you've worked to accomplish some great things for the town of Cedar Lake, and I'm fortunate to have worked with you on some of our projects. Tonight, we have item number 2 under ordinances, ordinance number 1474, the rezoning for Lakeside South. In early 2021, before we purchased that property, we met with Rick Everly, Neil Simstead, Tim Kubiak, Randy Niemeyer, and Richard Sharp to discuss annexation and utilities for this property. We were told then that it was well received, and we proceeded with the purchase of the property and subsequent annexation. Since then, we've had countless meetings with town staff and town boards. We've conducted public hearings and produced engineering studies, wetland studies, drain tile studies, and traffic studies. We've begun construction of a $1.5 million sanitary sewer interceptor for the east side, and we've designed and would like to begin construction on a $1 million water main project that will complete the town's east side water system. We received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission at their September 20 meeting this year. After zoning approval, we will have 3 months of engineering and approximately 6 months of development ahead of us. So at this point, we will be lucky to break ground on any buildings until at least late 2024. Further delays in this project would push this project into 2025, or it may not happen at all. I want to reiterate what you know already, that this will be one of the nicest developments in Cedar Lake with very high-quality homes, and you know the Schilling's regulation. So we respectfully ask you to pass ordinance number 1474 tonight to rezone the property known as Lakeside South. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Jeff. Mr. Wilken?
Gary Wilkening, I live at 10826 West 131st Avenue. This is regarding to the item number 1.
The Rego?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Rego property. We've been doing this a long time. 3 years we've been doing this. So I guess I have to ask, this indemnification document that I had mentioned months and months and months ago, that is complete?
It is.
Okay. And it protects the property owners to the north with access to their utility in any way, shape, or form?
It does not.
So there's holes in this again?
No, there's no holes. It's just an indemnification agreement that is given for the benefit of somebody who doesn't have consideration.
So the indemnification document is protecting the Regos, the town from the Regos?
In part, yes.
In part. It doesn't protect, there's no document from the HOA regarding their granting access?
There is not.
Okay. And there's nothing to protect the Steiningers and the Collinses from our liability to them for shutting this off?
There is not.
Okay, all right. Seems to me like we're almost back to square one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilken.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just thanking you. I said thank you, Mr. Wilken, sorry. Any other public comment? Agenda items only? Agenda items only, public comment? That public comment is closed. We move to the consent agenda. Claims, all town funds, $1,055,412.85. Wastewater operating, $214,796.98. Water utilities, $17,927.44. Stormwater, $24,211.13. Payroll, December 7th and December 14th, 23, $426,115,021. And November remittances, $198,443,035. Manual journal entries, November 1st, 2023 to November 30th, 2023. Donations from the PD K-9 program, $100 from Tammy Bilber and family. And PD Squad Light upgrade sponsorship, $1,500 from Lakeshore True Value. Motion to accept and waive the Wait, and a motion to accept the consent agenda, being no minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foreman,
I'll second it.
second by Ralph. Roll call, please.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cupido,
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes?
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Move to ordinance 1473. Pinecrest rezone from resort to planned urban development. Received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission on September 20th, 2023. Mr. Foreman, by title only, please.
You bet. It's 1473.
1473, yes, sir.
I see 1474.
Margaret said there was not a hard copy in the packet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for electronic copy.
She didn't have, Ashley's still working on it.
There's nothing in the packet at
Right.
all, right, Margot?
No.
For this?
There is not.
Okay.
Hard to read.
Chris, do you have access to it?
No, it did not. It was, I believe according to Mr. Austin, sent to us, 3 o'clock today, so we don't have time to, by that time, we do not have time to upload it. I'll defer to Attorney Austin.
And I don't have a hard copy either. It wasn't in my package.
Okay.
So where are we at with
Yeah,
this
so
project?
what-
I mean,
what do we
this
do?
was since back in
September.
September.
Mm-hmm.
Chris or David, from a legal standpoint, are we close? Where are we at?
Incredibly close, but for an understanding about the considerations that have changed related to financing, funding, infrastructure.
I see.
And I think it's good that Jack is here, so we can talk about that a little bit.
Are we going
Perhaps.
1473 or 14?
This is 1473.
This is 73, David. This is Pinecrest. But, you know what, again, it's 6:48. Is the petitioner here, or representative? Can we move this as well, Mr. President, in case they come,
You're right.
like we did for the Rego?
Just like Regal, I talked to Attorney Viss today.
Uh-huh.
They plan on being here.
I
So
They're gonna be here, okay.
they'll probably walk in at 6:59.
Yeah.
Move it.
Okay, we'll move this to after the
Rego.
After the Rego. Okay. Ordinance 1474. Lakeside zone rezone from R1 and Ag to a planned urban development. Received a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission on 9/20/23 and deferred by the Town Council on 10/17 and 11/21/23. Mr. Foreman, by title only, if you can find,
You bet. Ordinance number 1474, an ordinance reclassifying certain lands in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana for zoning purposes, and amending town zoning ordinance number 1402, being the zoning ordinance of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, passed by the town council of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, the first day of March 2022, and all amendments passed subsequent thereto.
thank you, Mr. Foreman. Chris, Dave?
For Dave.
Happy to handle it. This matter was certified by the Plan Commission September 23rd at its public meeting favorably to you based upon the submissions that were made in the public hearing before the Plan Commission. Mr. Slager and his team presented their plan, project, subdivision, all the items of detail in the specifications and in the agreement, the development agreement. That came to you, and then it was certified into the next meeting of the council, I think in October, and was deferred from then through November and to now. The reason it was deferred, and Jack can be explaining his own case if he needs to, if I'm inaccurate, but it had to do with the change in initiative by the town of financing participation with a TIF residential funding allocation area project that would have generated revenue from the homes that were to be built in this project for partnership infrastructure responsibilities and defined improvements. And because that initiative of the town changed, this matter was deferred. Generally, there might be other minor reasons, but I'm trying to keep this where it belongs. heavy discussion of what consideration should be now that that initiative was off the table, and where to go from here. What you have in front of you tonight is what was certified favorably in September. So this project, as presented, still stands, and the recommendation is still good. It's a question of what considerations there will be or not regarding changes to the plan, if any, based upon that financing thing I just talked about. Chris, I miss anything?
Not to my knowledge.
So this was,
Thank you, David.
this was given a favorable recommendation when residential TIF was still being considered?
It was one of the reasons for residential TIF. It was one of the project parcels for residential development that had been cited and identified for such and discussed with the developers for how to use the funds and what, who received what, who did what.
So you're telling me that there's something missing from this, Dave? We're not all the
No.
way there yet?
No, nothing's missing. This is, again, properly good form and context. I've read every page of this. The change could be, and Jack's going to speak for his employer here shortly, could be that the lack of having that revenue generated by a TIF residential allocation area changes who does what and what the developer's prepared to do and not do, and what the town may be willing to do or not do. Everything has changed in a financial sense, if you will, which yields what's going to be built or not built.
Mr. Rushing, can I ask you one legal question?
Sure.
The residential TIF law, as you know it, so if this were to get kicked off now and 3-6 months down the road, the PUD could still be renegotiated and use TIF funds for improvements to widen the road, things like that?
It could.
Okay.
It could result in the amendment of the ordinance with the development agreement contained and the specifications that were identified.
Okay, because there's certainly advantages to both taxpayers as well as to additional infrastructure being added with residential TIF, in the event the new council wanted to move forward with.
That's possible, for
Okay.
sure. And that's available to the legislative body
Correct.
until the law expires in 4 years, or 3+ years. I'm sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can say, the idea of the residential TIF was brought to us mid-year this year. It was not part of our original planning for this development. We were excited about it when it was brought to us, and we worked with the town to talk about what that could mean and what it could generate for the town. There was not necessarily a huge benefit to us as the developer. The majority of the TIF was going to the town to pay for whatever, fire, police, roads, whatever needs they felt they had. Since that has gone away, we are still dedicated to developing this subdivision as we have every other development. We've agreed to put in the sewer line, we've agreed to put in the water main that completes your system. We've agreed to improve our side of 141st, we've agreed to put in the walking path and do all the things that we normally would. You know, the benefit to the town is $8 million plus in permit revenue, and still there's $30 million in tax revenue, and I realize the town doesn't get it all now, but they still get a portion of that as it comes in. Yeah, the loss of the TIF was unfortunate, but it doesn't change what we plan to do there, which is a first-class development.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank
So
you.
really no different than any other developments that you've done in the past?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, it needs to be noted, though, that the development agreement that's here was based upon, premised upon the revenue that was to be generated and the participation the town would have by way of TIF revenue, with the developer having some of it. And the plans that are presented to you now are based upon that. That was staff concern for continuing the negotiation, if you will, as it happens,
Mhm.
and making certain that everybody understood their lanes and their responsibilities and their costs. So,
No, yeah, and I think that's similar to like the Lennar, you know, that thing kind of got pushed through fairly quickly, and there was still a lot of PUD stuff that you guys were working on legally wise after the fact, and that sort of thing, so
yeah,
it's
Lennar would
somewhat
be,
similar in that.
you could consider the Lennar project a primitive version of this. The legislature fine-tuned
Mhm.
PUDs and TIF and residential usage, and those pieces came together in that law that was adopted last year in June. And it seems like maybe it's only on a trial basis, it's a 4-year statute.
You bet.
So, Mr. Austin, in your opinion, how do we make sure we get this right then?
Well, I think sitting down with the developer and reviewing the plan that's presented against the approval that was made, or recommendation that was made, is a pretty simple process. This developer has been completely cooperative in meeting, working, assessing, and dialoguing with us. So I don't view it as difficult at all. I mean, there'll be points that are financial and remunerative to the developer that aren't to the town, and that'll either be hammered through or it won't. So,
And like I said, we have, if and when we get our zoning approval, we have at least 3 months of engineering to work through, which takes us back in front of the Plan Commission for preliminary plat approval, takes us back in front of Don for engineering review. So we.
So you plan on working closely with the new
We still have a lot of work to do.
plan and the new councils and so on and so forth? Okay.
Jack, I have a question for you. You mentioned the water line loop and that. I understand where the water's coming from by way of the line, but it's a pretty well-known fact right now that we don't have capacity on the east side for this project. So what's the plan going forward? Water capacity?
Actually, you do have the water capacity for this project, it's there. We would be completing the system, you guys have the supply over on this side, you have the tank on the other side. We're completing the missing link, which is the water line between your wells and your tank.
Okay, because it was stated by our engineer, we only had enough for 300 and something permits, 91 immediately, but 370 if you did them in blocks. And you have, so,
That may be without the water line, but
Okay.
That was
once
just
that water
using
line
the
goes
Robin's Nest
Okay.
well.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so with the water line, you have it.
It's pretty, once that goes in, it's, I don't know, I don't wanna say unlimited, but there's a lot.
There's a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
And keep in mind, this is at least a 10-year project. I talked a little bit about the timeline, but we're talking development next year, building the end of next year, you're talking occupancy, first occupancy in 2026 of maybe 25 homes. You know, it's really 5 years before this thing ramps up to full speed and 10 years before it completes at the earliest. So there's a lot of time here.
And this is the Lakeside South rezone from R1 to Ag to a planned unit development, is what we're
Correct.
talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've heard all the information on 1474. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1474, Lakeside South rezone from R1 in agriculture to a planned unit development, which I might add received a federal plan commission approval. And I would also like to add the condition that the development agreement is worked upon with the building department at the town of Cedar Lake in accordance with laws as they see fit with legal.
Thank you, John.
I'll second.
Second by Colleen.
Mr. President,
Yes, Dave.
John, can you clarify your motion, please, in terms of the development agreement?
Yeah, so this is a rezone from R1 to Ag to PUD. So in the event that there's items that you mentioned that particularly are tied directly to the residential TIF, and over the course of the next X number of months, if the new folks that come in do not want anything to do with residential TIF, we either rework it out of it and/or you add to it.
Well, So that you're clear and there's no misunderstanding,
You bet.
if in fact this is approved as motioned, that's the plan that this developer has to do,
That's correct.
okay? So all that infrastructure cooperation and coordination and dividing and allocating to town and developer as presented. is
If they
what
so
is-
choose to want to do it. They may not. If they've already done the 1.5 million sewer and $1 million water and don't care to partake in widening the road and all of that sort of thing, then it would be irrelevant.
Well, there's confusion in that. Now, I'm driving at this because the planning department's gonna have to administer this.
You bet.
And so your approval by ordinance, a law,
Correct.
is that what has been presented, what it was approved and favorably certified to you, is what you are approving, including the agreement and the specifications.
That is correct. And if we want to make changes, both you, being legal, as well as the building department, can negotiate with said developer.
Well, it won't be the town that'll make changes, it'll be the developer who will present changes to town staff,
That makes sense.
and there will be a reaction to that, but as is, cannot be developed the way it is.
No, it would most likely need to be an amendment to the PUD, wouldn't it?
That's my point,
Right. And we've done that quite a few times over the years,
okay?
so yes. So would you like me to add, if changes happen, amendment to the PUD
No.
would need to occur?
No.
I think the professionals at the building department should administer that.
No, only that it's clear that it's this recommendation from the plan commission, including development agreement, specifications, standards, and documents, is what you're approving.
That is correct.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we can't defer this item, John, with the clear as
It's-
mud right now?
Yeah, I understand your viewpoint, Nick. The ground's freezing. Planning stages are now. This has been being worked on for quite a few, year and a half, 2 years, and it's been approved by the plan commission, so sort of, you know, if the new council wants to do,
4-2.
if the new council wants to, do residential TIF and widen 141st and that sort of thing, widen in Morris and so on and so forth with other projects, great. If not, that makes sense too. Whatever, but no, I have a motion and we have a second, so I'll run forward with it.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Nick Cupido?
No.
Ralph Miller?
No.
Colleen Scheven? Yes. John Foreman?
Yes?
Richard Sharp?
Yes, motion carries 4-2. Ordinance 1481, Mr. Foreman, by title only.
You bet.
Salary ordinance, this is a second reading.
We do have Brago here now.
1481.
Okay, we'll go back to that after.
Town of Sierra Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1481, an ordinance amending town salary ordinance 1436, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Sierra Lake for the year 2024, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Thank you. This is the second reading. The first reading passed 5-1 on December 5th. Margot, do you have anything?
Would like to note one amendment that was left out of the original draft that you were seeing, or the first reading. In the Public Works Department, there is a pesticide applicator Category 8 added. It is in addition to their hourly pay, if they have that certification, of 75 cents an hour.
Thank you, Chris. Do we have a motion to adopt ordinance 1481?
I'll make the motion to adopt it.
Motion by Mr. Miller,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Roll call?
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nick Cupido?
Yes?
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. We got Rego and Pinecrest both here now, so we'll go to the Rego, please. Public hearing. Ordinance number 1456, public way vacation, continued from April 27th, June 20th, July 18th, August 1st, August 15th, and October 3rd, all 2023. Review of the legals we established for an order, did we not?
Many times.
Many times, that's what we said. Opening remarks?
Attorney Weezer's in the room.
Yes. Mr. Weezer, please.
Good evening. When we were last here, I'll say that. When we were last here, it was my understanding, or at least my perception, maybe that's a better way to phrase it, that the council was considering the adoption of the ordinance, but then there was concern expressed by council members, legitimately, to consider the ramifications of liability to the town. That left, as we left the meeting, the idea was it was continue to defer for that reason. Thereafter, Mr. Austin and myself negotiated an indemnity agreement, which I have here, signed by my clients, to submit to you this evening. And since we've, as it was pointed out, there's been many attempts at this and many hearings, and I don't think there is possibly any other information or evidence or documentation we can present. We've presented as much as we can. So I would just present this agreement to you for your consideration while you're thinking about the adoption of the ordinance. So if I might approach Mr. Chairman.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. President?
Just have three.
Yes.
While Jim's handing things out, I just want to comment on the phrase negotiate. I wouldn't call it a negotiation. A discussion certainly was had, and I had no authority to negotiate.
We talked about it.
Okay.
We did, we talked about it.
David, you've read this already?
I have.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I think we, again, submitted all the evidence I think we possibly could in response to questions that you all had before.
Good, Ralph.
Yeah, did you get
Nick,
that one?
did you say
Yeah.
one?
I got it.
They were limited on numbers.
Yeah.
I gave it to Nick first.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
would you like to solicit or consider soliciting a reading by title only of the ordinance?
Oh, I thought we did, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, reading of ordinance 1456, Mr. Foreman. Title only.
You bet. Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1456, an ordinance vacating a public way in the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, John. We move on to remonstrators. Any remonstrators for or against? Remonstrators?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Come on up. Name and address, please.
Michael Dolder, 842 on West 139th Avenue, here in Cedar Lake. I'm the neighbor to the south.
Yes.
I had my walkway easement vacated back in 2010. I'm here to support him. I'm also president of our subdivision association. I sent you all letters back in May.
Yep.
In fact, NIPSCO came in October and did some work on the poles in the area. They accessed it through the subdivision association property. I think they changed insulators or something, but I would encourage you all to approve this. Thank you.
Did NIPSCO use a bucket truck? They climbed the pole.
They used a
Out of
bucket truck on the
curiosity.
near side, and then on the far side, a guy walked over with a ladder.
Okay. Thank you.
One of our members had a pier blocking the way. It was in the fall and they were pulling it out, but they were able to get up.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Town council, discussion?
I have a question for Mr. Austin. In this indemnity agreement, it says, quote, "Said indemnification shall apply solely to liability for claims, demands, costs, or judgments against indemnitor as a result of the location and proximity of NIPSCO high-tension wires extending over the deck servicing several residences." Is there anything in this document that protects the town in the event that service is permanently disrupted for the neighbors to the north?
I don't think so. That's one of the weaknesses of this document. It's a good document, but it doesn't cover enough. And you'll note in definitions at the top, the indemnity agreement is for the benefit of the Ragos and the town only, and not other parcels, which is what I think the concern is.
Yeah, so it's not for...
But, you know, I remember the last time we had a hearing, some folks said, what if they cut off power to the neighbors to the north? Well, I own Parish Avenue in front of my home, so am I allowed to go knock down the pole and keep power from going to the rest of the town? I can't. So I think from that standpoint, it's irrelevant as long as the town's protected with the indemnification. It seems like, you know, we're not gonna...
Well, you're not an attorney, and neither am I, John, and
You bet.
Mr. Austin said that there's nothing protecting those residents, so...
But again, you made it imply like if he disrupted service from them.
Okay,
That's what you was implied.
it is what I implied, yes.
And I implied back to you, Nick, that would be like me disrupting service by removing the poles from my house.
I'm trying to protect the residents here. I'm not trying to do anybody
As
else's
am I.
favors.
As am I.
I'm trying to protect all parties involved.
We've been beating that horse for 2 years, Nick.
Doesn't appear that
This is
way.
irrelevant.
Okay, that's your opinion.
NIPSCO is most powerful and almighty. I don't think that anyone's gonna tell NIPSCO to remove a power line
Okay.
without them paying for it.
You can't mess with that.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, Chris, could you weigh in on this? Can you tell me?
My opinion of this is probably the same as Mr. Kubiak's. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense at this time as proposed.
Thanks, Chris.
We had started our meeting at 6:30, and we had some discussion about this beforehand, Mr. Weezer, before you got here. Mr. Kubiak came up and showed us where there is a walking path that's going through the lakefront, covering all of the lakefront. I do not want to give up the lakefront. I don't think we should take that away from the rest of our citizens. Also, when they applied for their permit, a deck was not something that they were asking for. It was not something that they wanted, and it's like, well, we'll just sneak that in later, we'll just do this or that. I don't think that that's the way to do business.
And I don't think that's accurate.
Oh, well, that's my,
You should have been here for all the testimony then.
I was here.
It never came up. And, excuse me, you started a meeting, a public hearing illegally by telling all of us that it's at 7 o'clock. So we showed up for your 7 o'clock meeting, and you allowed testimony without us being present to hear what they said, to respond to what they said. And you think that's fine? You think that's okay? That's outrageous. That's illegal. So you had people up here, I know there was someone that walked by us proudly saying, hey, I already testified against you guys. Standing out there saying you did what? How did you do that? The meeting started at 7 o'clock. Well, I guess I didn't get the memo, and I guess my clients didn't get the memo, and your allegations, Ralph, are wrong. That isn't the testimony, and they're wrong. What, the 10-foot walkway is next to their house. It's not down on the lake. It's right next to their house. What we're asking for is what's been done for a number of the properties all the way along that easement. I did Mr. Golder's, who lives next door. I did his 12 years ago whenever we were here. No one said, what are you going to do to indemnify the neighbors? I don't know. I could be wrong, and I don't break this representation saying that this is absolutely legally true. I cannot imagine if we said, my clients went to their insurance company and said, we want insurance policy to indemnify the town. Oh, and by the way, all the neighbors down the way. And they'd say, nice knowing you. We can't do that, and we won't do that. Nobody in that whole line, nobody from the south to the north for that 4-block area has ever been asked to do this. Nobody has ever been asked to indemnify the neighbors from something that somebody says might happen. Nobody, not a soul. All we're asking for is what already the neighbors to the north enjoy. They're built across that, and I assume they got appropriate, variances or a vacation. I can't say one way or the other. What I can say is, their properties are built across it. How come they're not indemnifying anybody? Why is it that there's one person in this entire town, or one couple in this entire town, that have to indemnify neighbors for an event that's never going to happen? And then on top of all that, we find out that you started a public hearing, an advertised public hearing for 7 o'clock at 6:30 and allowed testimony against us. I can't in my wildest dreams think that you think that's right. I had the privilege and honor of serving on council for 12 years. I never would have given that even a thought to do, nor would any of my colleagues have. We're simply asking for what everybody along that 4-block stretch has had done. Not everybody, virtually everybody.
Mr. Weiser, can you substantiate that claim? Because the information I have, nothing has been vacated to the north in this walkway. I mean, your assumption, how you're portraying this is that we're being unreasonable to you and your client, but I have not seen anything proving that anybody has had anything vacated north of your client.
No, I did not say that. I said, I assumed that they must have done so, and the south has. I know that because I've done a couple of them. But on the north, they enjoy the benefit of being across the walkway, whether they got a vacation or not. The fact of the matter is, that's what I said. However they did it, they did it.
And Nick, in all sincerity, we've not only vacated walkways, east side of the lake, wherever, west side, wherever, but we've also vacated unimproved roads, which are, at one time, somebody had a good idea back in the 30s or the 20s when they came out and platted everything, we vacate roads, and then the person then owns the land on both sides. As for the other neighbors on this subject matter, I think a 10-foot, and I've said this before, a 10-foot wide walkway on a 45-degree hill is somewhat worthless, and if I were all those neighbors, I would try to vacate the road, because I wouldn't want in the future somebody walking in my backyard and they have rights, and now I can't even ride my, toboggan across because folks are there and I'm going out on the pond. I mean, I own the land on both sides. It had its place in the day, but today it's kind of a moot point in my opinion, so that's my 2 cents.
I would like to clarify the record too.
Yes, please.
This meeting time has been scheduled since roughly the same time last year, and it was notified at our last meeting as well, the start time.
Yes.
And the start time for next year's last December meeting was just approved at the last council meeting on the 5th for a start time of 6:30, so.
I thought so.
It has 2 stars on the government schedule.
Yes,
Changing
to
the
denote
time
the start
to-
time.
That is not your notice of a public meeting, or a public hearing. That might be your notice of a public meeting. That's not your notice of a public hearing. It says on your agenda, I have it here, Town Council Public Meeting Agenda, December 19, 2023, 7 p.m. How are we supposed to interpret that? It's 7 p.m. You could talk till you're blue in the face. It's 7 p.m. You can shake your head no, then why doesn't it say 6:30 on here?
He amended one now.
We got this today, just to make sure. How can you say, Chris, I don't know how you can say that. Then explain to me why this says 7 o'clock.
Can't answer that. I don't know what you're looking at, I apologize.
Here's what I'm looking at, which is what we got off your website today at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Read across the top. Does it say 7 o'clock?
That paper says that.
Are you saying this isn't a paper that's published by you?
I don't know when, again, I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty good.
Good
Pretty
save.
good for an old guy.
Good save. So David, is this illegal or not legal, or what kind of public hearing is this?
This is legal. In your public comment, you had some comments presented. Petitioner wasn't present. The item has been carried forward on your agenda. Here they are. They're here to be heard. They haven't been prejudiced by...
By anything that has gone before?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay?
Oh,
So-
sure, that's fine. Yeah, just fine.
It's as fine.
Yeah, you want me to admit that.
It's as fine
I'm
as
just
you're...
That I'm
saying the way
told
it is.
to come to a
I'm
meeting
just-
at 7 o'clock and you start at 6:30, I can't agree to that.
No, that makes sense, but let's move on.
Any town council additional discussion, additional questions?
No, again, I'll just say, you know, we vacated walking paths, we vacated roads, we've, probably wider than 10-foot walking paths. This thing's on a 45-degree hill in some places, maybe steeper in others, with the 8-10 neighbors that are there. I do understand some of the points that were made, how it would, you know, but if the road goes to the north to nowhere, you know, to the conference grounds, and then, so, I mean, the thought is there, and I'm in favor of this ordinance, and if you'd be willing, Mr. Chairman, if no one else has any discussion, I'd be willing to make a motion in favor of ordinance number 1456, public way vacation, this continued public hearing that's been going on.
Motion by Mr. Foreman to
A motion to approve.
approve ordinance 1456.
And accept into the record the indemnification agreement that we did receive as part of the packet and/or delivered here tonight.
Thank you.
I will second.
Second by Colleen. Discussion? Roll call?
I just can't see giving up property for the walkway that we will have to turn around and buy back if we decide to do it. We just got a huge grant to put sidewalks in for how much money, Chris?
A little north of $3 million.
A little north of $3 million to put sidewalks in Cedar Lake. Here we have property down on the lake that we can put a sidewalk,
We're not gonna.
and we're gonna give it away.
But both, it's not on the lake, it's 50 feet from the shore, so that's what I'm saying, it's kind of, that, I understand that somebody planned this years and years ago when the Monon Depot was here. But we're in 2023.
Vote going, you don't
So
get discussion with,
Thank you for your
discussion
opinion,
is
Ralph.
slow.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Julie Rivera. Yes. Nick Rakupido,
No.
Ralph Miller.
No.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
No. 3-3, now what do we do?
You have no action.
No action. Thank you.
Is this matter gonna be deferred, or how do you handle that when there's no action?
It'll go on the next agenda.
We can go to the next agenda, yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. President, may I ask
Okay.
a question? Okay, 'cause we've debated these things in the past, and we've rehashed them, and so again, have we or have we not vacated roads in this town in the past?
we have.
And have we grouped, or have we not vacated walk paths? We have lots of walk paths that trees are growing in the middle of them, they serve no purpose, they're not near the lake, and this thing's on a 45-degree angle. And we've been beating this dead horse for 2 years. I don't think the Regos, you know, inadvertently did anything wrong by getting a permit, not to mention that now someone's going to be paying taxes on these various walk paths on both sides of it. So indirectly, to counter Ralph's argument is the fact that we now then, as these get taxed, do make something as of today we're not. Of course, we've been acquiring a lot of lands in our community to be able to do beautiful walk paths to connect Lemon Lake to the town of Cedar Lake. We, of course, had to purchase some easements along 133rd, along Lakeshore Drive from the roundabout down to here, and yes, it is $3.5 million. We also had to purchase easement for the roundabout. You know, Mr. Parker's parents, they received money, I think my aunt received money, and everybody around there received money from the taxpayers because they had land that we wanted. I don't see us as a group wanting to do something in the middle of a person that owns land on both sides. Mr. Wilkening's mother has a piece of property here that he, too, if I were him, would want to vacate. So if I'm all those people there, it makes no logical sense to not come in and ask for a vacation. So I, again, would like to make a motion to approve this vacation and see if it passes the second time. That's my motion on the floor right now.
May I ask Chris and Tim if the walk path is the only reason?
What's that?
Is the walking path?
My issue with it is that it's an active utility easement at this point.
Okay, that's where we are. I thought
Also,
that's
that
where
it
we
is, I mean, it is the walking path that could be relocated, or the
Yeah.
utilities could be relocated, or, I mean, I have a concern, even though NIPSCO gave them a letter saying they could build a deck underneath of that high power line. As the building commissioner, I have an issue with issuing a permit to build a deck underneath that high power line, because I don't believe, even though it meets NIPSCO's NEC safety standards, it's not a good practice to continue, you know, to do that. It's just not a good idea. I don't know what the process of going through I know NIPSCO's 14 feet or 15 feet separation between the deck and that high power line. This isn't just a service wire going from a transformer to a home. This is a high power line feeding a transformer. So this is, it's high 52,000 volts or whatever of power going through that. So that's my number one concern of the whole time is that we are vacating a active utility way.
Okay.
It's not an easement. We've determined that through everybody's comments, but it is a public right-of-way. The town owns that property. It's being used as a utility easement at this point in time. Whether that's, called a utility easement or not, but it is the town's property. It's being used as a utility easement. I would feel that if the Regos got this, that they could tell NIPSCO that they don't want that high power line over their deck, and I don't know what the outcome would be, but I don't think that they could run that through there if there is no public way. That's my concern with the neighbors to the north, which I brought up in the past, and I don't, that they could never happen, I don't know, but, to me, if I own that property outright and NIPSCO's got a high voltage line running across it and I didn't want it there, I would think that, I could pursue getting it removed. I mean, it just seems to make sense.
So you have a motion on the floor to approve it.
No, I don't think that John should be able to make that motion, because we had a 3-3 vote. We got staff in the room telling us not to do it. It's
We do it all the time, Ralph, for the last dozen years that you've been a councilman, when we've had ties, we hash it. Sometimes then there's a motion to deny it, and then sometimes there's a motion to defer it, and then sometimes there's a motion to go at it again after more debate. And that's all I'm trying to say is,
Hey, John, we appreciate what you're trying to do, but the vote was made, I understand. I unfortunately happen to agree with Ralph, that I don't think you can make that motion under that circumstance. I appreciate it. We'll just accept the fact it was deferred and we'll be here in January. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll remove my motion from the floor.
Thank you, John.
John, your motion had to be accepted by the chair.
Fair enough.
At the end of the.
To be acknowledged. Fair enough. That makes sense.
A lot of what ifs.
Okay, we move to ordinance number 1473, Pinecrest rezone from resort to planned utility development. We still don't have the ordinance, correct?
To read.
Pardon? We don't have anything to read.
We don't have a copy of the ordinance electronically or on paper.
Should have one. So this was passed favorably in, at the September 20 Plan Commission meeting. Dave and I have gone back and forth, and we've got a proposed final, both a ordinance as well as a development agreement, as well as a design set of standards that was all reviewed and approved at the Plan Commission level, great detail, great specificity, so.
I'm looking for it right now, guys.
And they're telling us there's no
Would
copy
you
of
send that over? The final.
So I received a red line version on late Thursday, Friday, that had some minor tweaks to it, which I then redlined into the document from a PDF that was sent to me, and I sent that to Ashley this morning, the final proposed version, so.
That's why you don't have it.
This was sent and approved back in October. That's when it was sent on, that's when my office sent it back, so.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have not read any of this, Nathan, because it seems like you missed the deadline for tonight's meeting, Chris.
I missed the deadline?
The submission, it appears.
Friday.
Yeah.
Fridays are cut off to make items to the agenda. Definitely to the packet. This is a 500-page packet. Sending it today, this morning, doesn't give us enough time to put it up there.
I guess candidly, I'm a little flabbergasted on behalf of my client and on other people who want to develop in this town. I don't say this lightly. This was sent on behalf of my client following the September 20 Plan Commission in its proposed fashion in early October for review. The changes that were sent back to my office were de minimis. They were commas, they were bolding, they were captions, they were adding in dates.
I understand your frustration. We don't have an ordinance to read.
So there was never an ordinance developed back then? I don't see one. There must not have been, Tom.
There would have been a draft one, but it would have not been the final for your consideration.
I see.
Because there would have been, as Nathan outlined, red lines or draft marks from Dave that he had to correct.
So it shouldn't have been on the agenda, Chris, we think, or could have been, or might have been, or?
We have it on the agenda because it was deferred from a previous meeting.
Right.
You do not have the document in your agenda packet or in front of you because the office only received it this morning.
The red line copy.
No, the final copy.
The final.
The red line
Nathan
copy
says
would have
it's the
been
final
provided by
copy.
Dave to Nathan whenever it was timestamped sent.
There have been a couple of those drafts, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Dave.
There has been a protracted amount of time taken on this. There is no question about that. I openly acknowledge it. There were exchanges on several occasions from September to the present of documents and information. We crawled very, very close. I've reported to you 98, 99% were there. The last items are simply a proofread, really. I did not know this was an agenda item in terms of the ordinance itself. What I do know is that this is what we received in this document package, and that review is really pretty important for the sophisticated project that this is. Developers have done a tremendous job of visioning and identifying how this development will go. Your team has worked at it, maybe not in the pace that was anticipated, but as you may recall, there were some things that intervened. Things occurred, such as your engineer being gone on vacation for an extended period of time, scheduling circumstances on both sides. If we go back most of this year, we'll see there were time periods of silence between us because work was in process and or being developed for this project. Each and every time the project presented, it advanced substantially. And as I have reported, we're 98, 99%. I can also say this, the ordinance provides for rezoning from agriculture and R1 zoning to PUD zoning district classification under Title IX. The ordinance is relatively standard for describing that. I would suspect that you need to review, I don't know, Nate, how many pages are here? A couple hundred?
This is a 500-page document that was sent out. Yeah,
So it's substantial. My point is not about the work product or any of that, but that it is substantial, and that it probably ought to have your blessing related to the development agreement and the specifications, because those are the keys to the ordinance being effective and the project proposed being developed. Final point, I think we all agree that a quality development in this vicinity of our town is a big deal, and that we should be moving along in a parallel path to getting it done. That's where it's at tonight.
Do you foresee, Mr. Osham, from a legal standpoint, having received what you have, why there would be any reason for it not to be able to make the next public meeting in January?
No, I would expect it. I told Nathan that this evening.
Okay.
That was my mental expectation on it, given what we had.
I see.
You can only read something so many times before you're blurred and you got it.
Yep.
And that's where we're at.
And Chris, do you foresee any reason why we can't make an ordinance between then and now?
We have an ordinance.
We have it in hand.
It just didn't get into your package.
I see.
What happens if we read it right now? We wouldn't have enough time to read the whole ordinance, correct?
You certainly would. The ordinance is 3 pages. It's standard legal language. The development agreement outlines all the proposed uses that are allowed within all marina-related development. That was approved by the Plan Commission. This has been looked at specifically by Don Oliphant. He gave his final blessing on it in October of 2023. He specifically worked into it forest preservation for the lake and the development plan. It's a 3-year development plan for this area. It's been looked at extensively by all aspects of the folks here in town.
We were on the planning commission, John and I.
Chris, are you able to get copies made and we readdress this towards the end and read it?
Yeah, if that's the desire.
It's 500 pages?
No.
No.
The entire packet is 500 pages. This is probably just a few pages.
Yeah.
With 3.
How many,
What is it, 30
Nathan, 3 pages, is that what you
the
said?
development plan?
The ordinance is 3 pages. The development agreement is 6 pages with signatures. And the design standards is a total of 14 pages, with several pages being definitions and signature pages.
But this would be something that would normally be accessible to the public, and they would be able to comment on this as an agenda item, correct?
Why it was not
This
included?
is...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want to go
Okay,
down that road.
I understand.
The comment has been made by the council previously, specifically with a number of items, that if it hadn't been available to the public on Friday, it was the same time it's available to you, that you would like it deferred. So the ongoing policy has been, if it's not in our hands on Friday and made available to both you and the public, it's not on the agenda and it's not being added.
It's just mind-boggling, because we hashed it pretty good at the Plan Commission. They adhered to a lot of the things that the folks wanted, so on and so forth, and it just seems like lately, it just takes a long time to get things happening, and it's disheartening at best.
It's very disheartening for my clients and on behalf of clients that I represent for things to happen this way, because now they paid me to show up tonight, wasted my time, wasted your time, wasted time away from my family, everything, and now it's going to be delayed for my client. This could have all been avoided. It really could have been. And I think we do well to look at, moving forward in 2024, what our processes are going to be in timeframes, and making sure that those are enunciated to everyone that are involved in these processes. If we're going to move Cedar Lake forward, that has to happen. I don't want to put you in a bad spot. I'm not going to force anybody to read anything this evening. I'll defer. I understand there was a deadline, I guess, of Friday. I was unaware of that when this was given to me at 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, that I was supposed to turn around 30 pages the next day by noon. I was unaware of that. I thought that we were all in agreement with everything that we had since September 20.
I agree with you, Nathan. I think that we need to be given a little bit more time, everybody, you guys included, to your representatives, to vet these things, so we'll get it right. I apologize for any confusion, but yeah,
And
the
I'd
deadline.
be happy to meet with town officials to share some ideas for 2024.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Resolution.
Mr. Chairman. Do we need to take action?
Defer.
Defer.
Defer, make a motion to defer 1473 till next meeting, January 2nd, 2024.
I'll make the motion to defer.
Motion by Julie,
I'll second.
Mr. Chairman,
second by Colleen. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. There'll be new people here. They will take office
Yes.
on Monday.
Good. So they can,
That's good. Well, the good thing is there's a lot of people that already know about this project, so it's not a big deal. Okay. Just wanted to, as Bob Carnahan says, lift this up.
that's right. Next, Julie, you think January 2nd's okay?
I think a little bit more time should be given. There's probably gonna be a lot of business in a January 2nd meeting with appointments and whatever else we got going on.
I don't want to delay this any more than it has been already. We've had long agendas before. I don't think one more, as long as we have time to read it and it's posted and
Well, and
we'll have time to look at it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would say that the good thing is the folks that will be sitting up here have been, regularly in the last few months and participating in Plan Commission as well as in these, so it's not completely foreign. And, but if everybody on that first meeting isn't comfortable, then you defer it again. But
Deferred again, yeah.
you already have a motion in a second, so.
I don't want to kick this can down the road anymore.
Now that we have a final draft too, we'll have the final draft sent out to the incoming council.
Makes sense.
We have a motion and a second to defer. Roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cupido,
Yes?
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Schemen.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Okay. Now we move to resolution number 1344, ADA Transition Plan, Title VI Implementation Plan. Updates are required every 2 years to qualify for CCMG and other grants. This is the 500-page document, is that correct?
This is, or one of the lengthier documents.
Yeah, okay.
The larger of the updates are the community profile that have changed since the last census regarding demographics. And then another big change was the staff. Last time this was approved, there were different staff members here, so it needed to be updated for that fact.
So it needs to be updated now, and then it'll be updated sometime next year.
It
Okay.
minimally needs to be updated every 2 years.
Okay, so it
But
needs to be
can
updated for-
again next year.
For the CCMG and other grants, that's the...
Correct.
Okay, very good. Do we have a motion to...
No, we have to read it, I think, first, don't we?
Resolution 1344, yeah, is it in there, John? You got it?
It is, I have it.
Okay.
Resolution 1344, the resolution amending resolution number 1081 is amended from time to time pertaining to the adoption of the Americans with Disability Act Transition Plan in accordance with terms, conditions, and requirements under current applicable federal law, along with providing amendment to the Town of Cedar Lake ADA compliance and self-evaluation document and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
We've had the reading of 1344. Do you have any comment, questions? Dave?
Any motion made, could you request inclusion of subject to legal review? We've just gotten this document.
Okay, sure. Any motion include legal review? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to approval of legal
And legal review. Thank you, Colleen.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Miller. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cupido.
Yes?
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Schemen.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Resolution number 1345, is that correct, Margot?
That's correct.
1345, okay. It's a transfer resolution.
It says 1540.
It says 1343, it's 1345, I believe.
The resolution has the right number on it, it was just a typo.
Typo on
Yeah.
the agenda, okay.
Okay.
Resolution number 1345, Mr. Foreman, by,
You bet. Resolution 1345, a resolution authorizing appropriation transfers by the clerk treasurer for the following funds during the budget year 2023, whereas the town council of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, does find that conditions exist at time to time and that it's indispensably necessary to expend certain sums of money for the proper legal officers of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, by way of transfer of funds within the categories of appropriations. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town council of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, that the following transfers are made and specified funds between major budget categories. General Fund number 101, the total transfers is gonna be $85,000. Parks and Rec, 06, total transfer is $85,000. And that makes up $31,000 from 111 Park Superintendent, $4,000 from 111 Park Superintendent, $9,000 from 222 Operating Supplies, $20,000 from 312, which is Engineering, $21,000 from 313, which is Professional Services, and all of those go to, in reverse chronological order, 446, 449, 449, 449, and 449. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Margot, does that cover it as?
Yes, the Parks Department wanted to move some excess into the capital outlay and vehicles and trailers for equipment and I believe some picnic tables for next year.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Margot. Any other discussion?
So it's all staying within, I see general funds mentioned, but it's all park money staying
Yes.
for parks?
Yes, you
Okay.
can see on the second page, Mindy's memo, the 11th, that outlines where it's gonna, what those funds are gonna be used for. So they had, notably, especially in the salaries line item, given that the superintendent had not been hired until, I believe, May, a significant amount of money left over, so they wanna transfer it to buy tangible goods.
Okay.
This will likely be encumbered, from this year's budget into next year's, so they can, make those purchases then.
Okay, if the Parks Department has money left over, does that roll over each
No.
year?
No.
How they-
So this is
It has
one
to
way
be
that
encumbered.
Yeah, it has to either be encumbered, through invoices that have, that shows that they're gonna use it to purchase something, or possibly transferred to a non-reverting fund. That would be the only other way.
Okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, Nick?
I did have one question.
Yes.
Mr. Kubiak, is the parks now they're gonna start doing all the plowing of their own things and not public works, or?
Plowing of the parks.
Yeah, I think that they wanted to buy like a plow or something.
Well, they have plows on their trucks, so they will be plowing the parks, and then we will also have 2 parks people on call throughout the winter, just for like 3 months maybe, so that way, if we do have bad snows, they would be available to help subdivision plow and whatever, since we're growing, we're getting more stuff to plow, so.
Gotcha.
That was something that was on a month ago maybe, about the on-call parks, and that was
Right.
just for the 3, starting maybe here now until just through the snow season, so that way we do have availability of those 2 trucks that they have to help plow if needed.
Gotcha.
So, but they will be plowing the parks and then, the clubhouse and whatever else, here at this
Wow.
place and wherever else they can help out.
Gotcha.
There's not a lot of grass to mow in the winter, so that we'll use them as
This
much
is
as
true.
we can.
Thank you, Tim. Any other discussion? Do we have a motion to approve 1345, Resolution 1345?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Cupido.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Schreck.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. BZA Planning Commission. Items 1 through 3 were approved by a 6-0 vote at the Planning Commission during a special meeting on 12/6/23. Number 1, performance letter of credit extension and bank change. Rose Garden Estates Unit 2 in the amount of $1,685,193.13. And the extension was for 1 year? Is that?
Correct, December 9th, 2024, and the letter of credits with BMO.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve,
Yes.
performance letter of credit. And bank
Motion
change.
by John,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Cupido.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Schreck.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Number 2, performance letter of credit extension, Summer Winds, Unit 2, in the amount of $279,817.13. This is again a year extension.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
Correct.
I'll second.
second by Ralph. Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes?
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Performance letter of credit extension, Summer Winds Unit 3, in the amount of $14,575.48. Is this is something different, Chris, is that?
No, they have multiple letters of credit.
Okay, is this for a year?
This is, I believe, phase
Maintenance?
3, or
Okay.
unit 3.
Okay,
I've
Unit 3.
only got a couple lots in it, so
I
it's
see.
much smaller.
Okay, very good. Do you have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ralph,
I'll second.
second by Colleen.
Yes.
Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Moving to page 3 of, is it just 4? Oh, done. NIDA use commitment. Chris?
I'm going to refer to
Dave?
Mr. Oshner on
Dave, I'm
This
sorry.
was a condition of approval, the final actual item of the land use approval for the Nivai project on West 133rd Avenue.
Yes.
This is in good shape. Attorney Viss and I have worked through this easily. There's an additional consideration I received tonight, request on, but that has nothing to do with the commitment itself. Actually, it has nothing to do with the approval of the condition or commitment by you.
Okay. Thank you. Nate, did you have anything?
No, I guess I'm unaware of what the additional request is, but this was also passed at the September hearing. This was 4 variances that were granted for my client to build a auto repair location at the proposed location. There's a variety of use commitments, concerns that the Plan Commission and that the BZA had raised, and my client very much willingly consented to them. They made sense for the safety, cleanliness of the area as well as his operations. So Dave and I have worked with them, and it's ready for your approval this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'll refresh Nathan's recollection on
Yes.
this one. At 5 o'clock this evening, I received a letter request from the nation concerning this matter. The trusted finds me well, and with regard to the use commitment, he has been in dialogue with a bank officer seeking some additional confirmation that the terms have been listed. That is an additional consideration. I don't have to do this.
Oh,
The town
that's-
doesn't need to do that.
Okay, I didn't know my staff had sent that to you already, so.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the use commitment for 90?
Motion to approve?
Motion by John,
I'll second it.
second by Ralph. Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
No.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 5-1. Thank you. Old business, acceptance of the sustainability plan update, deferred on 12/5. This is in your packet, sustainability program by Crone and Associates. Do we have a motion to approve at this time?
This didn't get approved the last meeting?
No, it got deferred.
Deferred.
Huh.
Mr. President.
Corby's online in case you had any.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it got deferred, I could only hear you guys last time, I couldn't speak, but, I just wanted to make sure that I'm available to answer any questions, that you guys have had since
Okay.
kind of, it was presented. I haven't heard anything from you guys and from the public, but, if there isn't any updates there, I would just ask that we approve it.
Thank you, Corby.
Yes.
How binding at that all is this document? That
It's not binding at all, is
Nothing at all?
it? No.
Yeah, it's just a budget guide.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's just purely designed to be a long-term, well, I shouldn't say long-term, but longer-term planning tool than just your classic budget. You know, we can update this thing however we like, or however the council sees fit. It's a living document. At any point in time, we could print off updated schedules, you know, different scenarios you kind of want to see there. But yeah, there's nothing that you're held to by approving this.
like a roadmap to follow,
So-
of predictions and.
So it could be revisited at any time, Corby, and modified?
That's right,
Okay.
that's right. It's just meant to be a really good tool for you, the council, as well as everybody on the management team to primarily make sure that we have sustainable operations. That's kind of the key there.
Okay. Because I do have some concerns with it, but if it's not binding, then I'm not going to waste anybody's
No,
time tonight.
it's not binding at all,
Okay.
so,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corby.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion to accept the sustainability plan update?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the sustainability plan update.
Motion by Julie,
I'll second.
second by Colleen. Roll call, please.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cuputo,
No.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Colleen Scheven,
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 5-1. New business, Christopher Bell, pay request number 1, payable to Gatlin Plumbing and Heating in the amount of $220,500 for the Morse Water Plant Extension Project. Chris, do you want to comment, or does anybody want to comment?
This pay request is for materials purchased, so water lines only.
Thank you, Chris. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second it.
second by Ralph. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cuputo,
Not without discussion. I have to vote no.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
We can have discussion.
So this is for just purchase of material?
Yes.
Is this something we normally do? I mean, at least in my time, we had labor and material involved with these projects, but it looks like it's gonna be stored at, off-site somewhere, and for how long?
Correct, until they can get a NOI from NDOT or IDEM to install the water line. That's why there's no labor right now. If we had the NOI in hand, they would have been installing the pipe. Gatlin did take out an additional insurance policy on the pipe because they are storing it on their site in case any of the pipe is damaged while it's being stored.
Okay, all right.
And this was recommended by Neil? Was it Chris?
Christopher Burke.
Yeah.
Burke, okay.
Chris,
Oh, yeah, it's their letterhead, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Chris, isn't this also preemptive of delays in delivery and materials and the like?
Yes, this is because the project should have been already under construction. Should we have received NOI from IDEM, they would have been installing it already. So in order to avoid any cost increases in pipe potentially next year, they made the purchase now under the auspices that they were going to be installing it. So we asked them to house it on their place, and they did take out the insurance in order to make sure that it's covered.
Okay. And we're all good with this, Mr. Oshner?
I'm sorry?
It's all good?
Yeah, that's absolutely good.
Okay. Thank you.
We've had
All
a
right, thank you,
motion
Mr.
by,
President.
that's okay, Nick. We had a motion by Colleen and a second by Ralph. We could begin roll call again. Margot, please.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cuputo,
Yes?
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheven.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Christopher Bell, change order number 1 with a cost decrease in the amount of $5,725 for a revised total of $1,829,771,37 for the Shade Subdivision Improvements, Phase 1A. Just a change order, Chris?
Yeah, this
Decrease?
is decrease, I believe, due to material not needed.
Okay. Unusual, but good, good. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Cuputo,
Yes?
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Schemen.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Christopher Bell, pay request. Number 3, payable to Milestone in the amount of $142,630.79 for the Shade Subdivision Improvements Project Phase 1A.
So this is for work completed up until December 13th. They have essentially closed down for the year. They're doing the little last minute things to clean up, but they'll start back up in the spring.
Thank you,
How's
Chris.
it looking? I haven't been up there a few weekends.
Really good. They got the 3-foot box culvert in there that seems to be flowing nicely.
Drive down there, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
All the
the-
guardrail and everything is awesome.
Oh, nice.
Great stuff.
Yeah, roads that were never paved over in the last 50 years now have storm drains on them, so.
They weren't roads, Chris.
Yeah, wagon trail, that's the total.
They weren't roads, let me tell you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Do we have a motion to approve Christopher Bell pay request number 3?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foreman,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Miller. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Ricciardo,
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheeman.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Disbursement request number 8 from the 2022A Construction Fund for 100-103-163 for the Police Department project in the amount of $417,457.86.
This is for the ongoing project. You can see the progress being made. This has gone through, Veritas, GM Development, and Sue.
Sue's had a chance to look at it? Good.
Yeah, and I believe she's online as
She's
well, if
online
you have any
also.
questions.
Okay. You've looked at this,
look at it.
this one and the next one, right, Sue?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Ralph. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Ricciardo.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheeman.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Disbursement request number 7 from the 2022B Construction Fund, 100-103-1164 for the Fire Department project in the amount of $953,329.60. Again, you've looked at this one, Sue?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. Anything else, Chris?
Nope.
No? Okay. So we have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second.
second by Julie.
I have a,
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Chiefs, what are you thinking, man? What are the guys thinking? Get excited?
Most of the guys aren't walking through the project because it's pretty nasty up there, and they don't want to get all nasty going through there, so once it's paved off or paved off, they'll be going through there, but I, walk through the project at least once a week, probably even more than that recently with some, making sure things are getting installed where they're supposed to be and being part of a meeting, so,
Cool.
pretty excited.
Good.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. Roll call?
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Ricciardo.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Scheeman.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. 2024 Hanover Township Fire Services Agreement, Mr. Austin.
Chief Wilkening and I met with Trustee Toth. We completed a review of the document and the information in it, and sent that over here to you with a recommendation to consider.
Everything good, Chief? Thank you.
Somebody want to let the public know the changes in the, I guess, the territory or the service territory?
Advertised.
It's
already been advertised. I understand, but can we mention it in the meeting?
I can mention it. Everything north of 109th will now become part of St. John fire territory, not Cedar Lakes any longer.
That is unincorporated or off?
Unincorporated area. Emerald Crossing is now going to be part of St. John.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Okay,
Thank you, Chief.
you're welcome.
Any other questions on the Fire Services Agreement?
And the contract actually stayed the same in cost.
Dollar and cents?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All good, Kevin?
Yeah, we just, like, just so you guys know, like the chief said, we just basically took everything, and basically Emerald Crossing is a major part of the unincorporated area that's left over there. The people there have been asking for years about getting something closer, so we just thought if we could get something worked out with St. John, which we were able to do. So it's gonna benefit both. I think it's gonna help Cedar Lake also, because they're not gonna be going that far anymore. It's gonna eliminate probably about a dozen calls a month or so out in that area. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. We just we kept the contract amount the same, so we didn't change anything, as far as that goes, so we think it's a benefit for everyone.
Good deal, thank you.
Hey, Kevin, out of curiosity, was there any, questions, or did you ever talk to Crete, or is that, since it's a different state, is that non-jurisdictional?
They are.
Because they're so close, it's like a,
They
quarter of a
will
mile.
respond, they will respond when needed, when called.
Right.
We can't do any, we.
Legally, you can't, because it's a different state?
Because of state lines, we can't do anything with
Okay.
that. We wish we could, but.
Yeah, because it's like right there, right? I mean, all the sewage goes over there anyhow.
Yeah, but it's been discussed many, many times.
I see.
We are also on Auto 8 with St. John, and St. John with us for calls, so.
Right.
Okay.
We'll still be going out there helping them, as well as them coming and helping us like we always do.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Kevin. Any other questions? Roll call?
Did you?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, do we have a
the
motion?
agreement, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Nick? Second, John, thank you.
Made the motion.
Nick,
Thank you.
roll call.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Sheehan.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Moto on Ice agreement. Is anyone here for the Moto on Ice?
They might have to switch it to jet ski racing,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That would be.
Yeah.
Crazy winters. I don't see anybody here.
I don't either.
There's not.
Okay. What?
Oh, good.
This is Tim from Oil on Ice.
Okay. You got somebody, Margot?
Yeah, Tim from Jenkins.
Okay.
Hey, Tim,
Yeah.
floor is yours.
Yeah, we just wanted to continue with the agreement we had for the previous 2 years. I believe Mr. Austin has the contract that we used, and, we're just looking for a continuation of that.
Is it,
That's accurate. We checked off on the insurance provisions and made sure everything was correct.
okay.
No serious changes from last year's agreement?
No changes.
No changes?
Other than
The date.
insurance dates, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Tim, we hope you get some ice real soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking real promising this week, but January looks somewhat promising, if you can believe the forecast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do have a question, can we get
Yes.
can I get a copy of that agreement?
Yes, absolutely.
It's here.
Absolutely, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Moto and Ice agreement.
Motion by Mr. Foreman,
I'll second.
I'm talking about a sign.
second by Colleen.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
I know.
Yes.
Nick Recupero.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Sheehan. Yes. John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Sewer elimination agreement for 7105 West 139th Place. Chris, Tim?
Property owner requested that the sewer tap be eliminated, and it has to go before the council.
Okay.
And this house was demoed about 5 years ago, and the
Oh.
sewer was never inspected, and it was capped off. They've been paying a bill. They did dig it up recently and got it inspected and made sure that it is capped off, and that is why the request is concerning.
So that's where we are. Okay, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Chris.
I just have a question, just for my knowledge, Tim. It says in the agreement that, it says, shall be liable for the payment of the then current and applicable sewer tap-on fee in effect for the new sewer connections if they decide to use it again. Do we have a development charge too for that? So, there's not a system, I thought there was a system development fee and a tap fee.
There is, yeah.
There is.
But they would only be subject to the tap fee?
Yeah.
It'd be both.
That's how it reads.
That's how it reads, yeah.
Tim, is that not what they collect?
Just the tap fee?
That's in the document, it just shows the
Yeah,
tap
the way
fee.
that we've been, the way that I've understood that we've been doing it is if you don't continue to pay your sewer bill, it's gonna cost you $4,000. If you came in and next month to build a new house, then
That's what you're supposed, that's the practice requirement.
that's what we've been doing, and that's, so a lot of people decide to pay their monthly bill instead of capping it off, and then some people don't, but.
Right. If you plan on building soon, just
You
keep
plan on
it active.
building, yeah, if you times your monthly bill, you know, it takes a while to get to $4,000 if you're gonna do it in the near future, but
Okay.
that's how we've been doing it. I mean, that's just the way we've done it since I've been here. I don't know that.
I thought we put a lien on it after so long, didn't we?
No.
Just that if they keep their bill, these people have been paying this bill for the
They haven't
last
paid the
5
bill,
years,
okay.
it's current, so if they would've came in for a building permit for a new house, the sewer fees would've been zero. They would've just continued paying their monthly bill and been good, so.
Okay.
That's how we've been doing it. I don't know, we'll have to look into the development charge. I know the development charge was kinda new, but it's a fee. I don't know if I guess it would be used separately, but.
That's a fee established by ordinance, system development charge.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Colleen,
I'll second it.
second by Ralph. Roll call?
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
Nick Rakupo.
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Colleen Sheehan.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Reports, town council, any town council reports?
None?
Town attorney?
None.
Clerk treasurer, anything, Margot? No?
No, sir.
Town manager?
None.
Director of operations?
No, I'd just like to say it's been good working with you guys that are leaving here, being your last meeting. I know we did a lot of cool stuff and made the town a better place over the last year, so, it was
Thank
good
you,
working
Tim,
with
and
you guys.
Thanks,
I'm
Good working with you, sir.
We'll miss you, so.
You had a lot to do with the good stuff, so thank you.
Sure did.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Police department?
Council, you got our monthly report.
Yes.
You can see we had 1,064 calls for the month, totaling 13,000 up till the end of November. We issued 162 state citations and 506 warnings. We had 19 arrests with 45 charges, 23 were misdemeanor, 14 were felony, for a total of 291 charges and 291 arrests, 472 charges for the year. Ordinance, we had 50 citations issued and 18 warnings, and then we had 2 canine call-outs. And I would, Beck it's been a pleasure working with you guys over the last 4 years, and wish you the best.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you. It's been great working with you, Chief. Thank you so much for all your hard work and all your folks' hard work out there. Thank you. Fire department?
As you can see, our report, we're at 1,901 calls. Actually, we're at 1,992 calls, so we'll break 2,000 calls this year, which will be a record. Keep moving forward, and to expound upon what Chief Fisher and Tim said, it was a pleasure working with you guys for a very long time, and I wish you guys all the best and hope you guys move on to do something more fun.
Chief Todd, I'm looking forward to Tuesday night basketball, let me tell you. I've missed out on a lot of high school basketball over the years, and I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
There you go.
Thank you,
It's gonna be
Chief.
awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Written communication, building department report? No.
We had 14 new building permits in the month of November for a total of 148 to date. December will come out and be on the January and close-end year report in January. And then Christopher Burke and Veritas just essentially.
Except what they've been going on? Okay. All right, thanks, Chris. Any public comment? Name and address. State the public comment, and we'll answer all questions at the end.
Okay,
Okay? Thank you.
thank you. Cheryl Parker, 7227 West 136th Court. I'm looking at the Moto on Ice agreement, and I just wanted to find out, can you guys explain to me why you have this extending into March, when the DNR allows bubbling on the lake as of March 1st? That doesn't make sense to me.
You'd have ice in March 1st.
Yes, but my point is...
It's an extent, it's a parameter. It's setting
Okay,
the
because
parameter of it.
even if there is ice, if the DNR allows bubbling, that becomes unsafe for anybody up there. Okay.
It's parameter.
Only around their piers, only around the piers, so.
Well, there's a lot of them that are near that area, so.
Well, the race course has been set up to where it's not near the pier. and has to have 8 inches of ice there.
That I know, but
So-
even with that, you start bubbling.
The bubbling will not interfere with that. We've vetted this many, many times in the past, so.
Thank you. Yes, any more public comment? Yes.
Yes, I do.
Just name and address, please.
Miranda Roberts, 15008 Morse Street. I have to make this comment. I shouldn't probably, but with all due respect to Attorney Weezer, who is a partner of my personal attorney, Randy Wiley, I have to say that one has to do his due diligence. I'm just an opera singer, but my father was a lawyer, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and I also was chairman of the voice department for 11 years in the Conservatory of Music in Mainz. I would not even come to a meeting unless I looked online. It says 7 o'clock in the paper, but I would like to defend this council. If you look in government, and then you look meetings and schedules, and you go down the line, there is a date that has 2 stars on it, and that is December 19th. 2 stars, and it says, this meeting will begin at 6:30. I believe I was here at 6:30. I do my due diligence, and I expect that, of course, of an attorney, and as I say, I'm defending you all, because I don't think you deserve that tirade here. Okay, that's all I have to say. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank
We'll
you.
do a January green.
Yes, thank you. Any other public comment?
I'm Richard Eidelman, 8603 West 131st Avenue. And I live in Meyer Manor on that horseshoe that comes out on Polk Street and Lakeshore Drive. And I'd like to propose maybe a mirror be put on that corner so we can see around as they come around where Evergrady used to be, because it would definitely be a help over there, because in Meyer Manor, there's really no good areas to get out of that.
Just in and out, huh?
So, I've seen the mirrors in other places through town, and I know that would be a big help. So, I know the traffic is getting more and more, which I understand, but just to ease the access out of there.
A very good suggestion, right?
Chief, you,
I think there used to be one there, wasn't there?
It might have been.
Very good suggestion.
I don't remember.
Chief, can you look into it?
It is a difficult vision to see the traffic coming from the north, actually, technically from there, the north.
Yeah.
That's coming around, so I think it's a great idea. I think, I'm almost positive there's a telephone pole directly across the street
There
from
is.
Polk Street
'Cause
that could be erected on top of that, so.
And I would appreciate, I know everybody in that area would.
That's a good idea.
We've never personally purchased any mirrors that size, wouldn't even know where to get
Who put
them.
the one up down by Bugloos? Did we do
Not
that?
us. I don't know.
It just happened? Santa Claus.
Just naturally.
I wouldn't know where to find it.
No, thank you.
Great suggestion, sir.
Any other public comment?
Traffic mirror, so.
Public comment? Seeing no public comment?
Nobody's online?
Nobody online, Margot?
Mr. Niemeyer is unmuted for public comment, so.
Mr. Niemeyer?
Thank you, Mr. President. Randy Niemeyer, 13610 Ivy Street. Appreciate you taking the public comment tonight. I wasn't able to attend the utility board meeting, but I'm not sure if the project's closed out in Utopia yet. I still have busted up curbs in front of my house and on my side yard from the excavator rolling over top. So I just wanted that to be on record, that that's never been remedied. Also, I just wanted to come in tonight and congratulate the 4 of you that will be leaving. There's a combined 40 years of experience walking out of this room tonight. I was lucky and to be able to serve with all of you during a good portion of that time, and appreciated the opportunity to be a part of the team. You've accomplished great things in Cedar Lake. The town is better because of your service than when it started. The next council will start from a great place, and I think that's all any of us can hope, is that we're able to step away from it at some point and leave it better than what we found it, and give the next people an opportunity to succeed. You've done that, and John, your 16 years, what a tremendous change in this town. It's from the time that we were kids in Cedar Lake to now, quite a transformation. Ralph, in your 12 years, you've served so many roles. You've been our breakfast ambassador so many times, and I always appreciated how much you love Cedar Lake. Rick, you started this thing in a different political party and finished in a different political party, but you were always a great part of the team and just a wonderful guy to work with. And whenever we asked you to step up to something, you always did. You raised your hand first, so appreciate your willingness to work. And Colleen, your enthusiasm for service for the town and the love for this community and for parks and lifestyle initiatives is something that will be a lasting impact. So all of you have done a great job. Deserve to walk out with your head held high. And again, it was an honor for me to serve with all of you. January 1st, turn that page, start the next chapter. You all have so much more to give to this world, and I look forward to seeing what you do next. So thanks again for your service to Cedar Lake.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
Have a good evening, good Christmas.
You bet, you too.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anybody else, Margo?
No.
Only if they have accolades. That ends public comment. We move to...
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say a few things. First and foremost, having, grown up here in this community, it's been my sincere honor representing the taxpayers and giving it my all. I've dedicated a lot of time, as I said, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and missed a lot of basketball and practices and coaching and everything else. And it was all worth it. We started this venture trying to do infrastructure. I remember talking infrastructure. Oddly enough, 16 years later, we're still trying to do more infrastructure. But it's important when you don't have a community that was a planned community like most cities and towns around us. We're super unique, I've always said that. With the lake being in the middle, I hope that the new council finds this residential tip to our advantage, widens roads as wide as we can get them. Possibly maybe moving the town hall catty corner from the park so we can use that for parking, etc. But that'll be up to them to decide. I'd like to thank all the department heads, all the past folks I worked with in the building departments, the public works, the police department, the fire department. The dedication of first responders and police never have gone unnoticed by me. I've never been a micromanager. The way I've managed people my entire career in the professional world, I let people do their job. And I've always thought of me being a councilman as I'm just here to try to make judgment calls from a 30,000 elevation view and not to micromanage them and muddle in the police, fire, public works, business, etc. And I'm proud for that. And again, thanks for all the trust from the taxpayers. And once upon a time, I took one MBA class when I moved back here to Cedar Lake. And then the next year, I said, I'm going to run for council. And then I won. And then that was the end of the MBA class. But I'm sure I've learned more from representing the people of Cedar Lake about ordinances, resolutions, about debate, what have you, than I would have ever gotten out of an MBA class working and trying to finish that. So I'm forever grateful. And thank you all very much. And all of you up here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John.
Good education.
And I also want to say that I'm not going to cry because it's over. I'm going to smile and laugh because it happened. Because you've all been family to me. we're 5 different people from 5 totally different backgrounds and jobs and at different levels in our lives, but we have been the best of friends, we've been family, we've gone to each other's kids' graduations and celebrated births, and we've gone visited each other in the hospital and gone to funerals and wakes of each other's relatives, and I know our friendships will continue. The chemistry between the 5 of us is something that you can't replicate. I defy any town to have a council that is as close as us, and I'm just glad I was part of it for 9 years, and I had 4 years with you. I can't look at you.
Right. He gets me every time.
And my 9 years that I had Ralph and John, and when Randy was with us, it was great. And Rick, you came around to our side of things, 8 years ago. So, it's not a sad time, bittersweet, but you guys have you've been awesome. You supported me when I went back to school for my master's and encouraged me, and I could call any of you for anything. And I know you'll be there, and we're still gonna find ways to hang out. Maybe not as many hours a month, but
it'll be more fun.
Thank you, Julie.
It'll have more fun.
And I would just like to say, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Cedar Lake for these past 8 years. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, the staff over there. Great job, all of you. Thank you. We're lucky to have you.
We're lucky to have Chris come along. All the rest of you have been great. I had a blast these 4 years. It was a lot of fun, doing good things, and look forward to having my Tuesday night back.
I want to thank everybody also for the 12 years on the council, and the first year I was on the police commission. I learned a lot in the last 13 years. I've had a lot of compliments in the last 13 years. The compliments come from the table over here. These people do a fabulous job. They got our backs. They take good care of us. And up here, this is a second family, I don't know what to say, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to do what we did, and good luck to the council coming on. If I can do anything to help, I'm only a phone call away. Give me a call. So with that, thank yous all, and everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
God bless.
We finished?
Yep.
Yeah, I know, Chris. Chris is next on the agenda.
It's hard to top that.
Not really.
Go into it. For the 4 of you, we've got plaques, like Mr. Aylesworth, that are second to last meeting. I'm not going to read them because they're individualized, but I will just say, presented to the 4 of you with heartfelt gratitude, the town of Cedar Lake does hereby extend their appreciation in recognition of your leadership and dedicated service to the town council of Cedar Lake.
Thank you, Chris.
I apologize, I forgot my red jacket, otherwise it would have been a better attire.
The red balloon.
But I also enjoyed working with the entire town council and you 4. You brought me on here. I appreciate the opportunity to have served with you, trying to move forward some very historic projects for the town of Cedar Lake. I grew up in the middle of a cornfield down at Lowell. So when I first came here and was told I would be in charge of a town with an 800-acre lake in the center of it, it was a little daunting. And then you told me that I need to prepare the dredge project, which was a whirlwind of its own. Fabulous time. Much like you guys, the staff here are absolutely phenomenal. Great group of people. And this town's got a lot of good times ahead of it. Kind of like what they say at the museum next door. We like to think that the golden times were back in the 20s, where the hotel and resort days were swinging hard, but I think the glory times are yet to come. And the town council here has set forth a lot of that foundation, and the town councils to come will move that foundation and continue to go vertical with it. So thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
everybody. With that, this meeting's adjourned at 8:30 PM. Next meeting, Tuesday.